So where do new functions come from? Well, here we're going to work through a short example where I show you how you might try to come up with a function of your own. Remember that we have a way of using the word counts command to create bigrams. So here's the Lincoln quote, and we can use word counts with the argument 2 to give us all of the bigrams, and it returns an association. The people occurs 3 times, the earth occurs 1 time, from the occurs 1 time, and so on. Let's try writing a function of our own that does the same thing. We start with the quote and we pass it through text words to create a list of words. So we know that that's the first thing that we need to do. Now we're talking about bigrams, which tells us we're going to need to do a partition next. We take the expression we just created and we wrap a partition around it with a window size of 2 and a step size of 1, and we end up with a list of the bigrams that are in that quote. Now we want to count things, and so we're going to apply the command tally to that, and that's going to go through, and it's going to count the number of copies. And notice that we're still working with nested lists here, lists inside of lists. So that government occurs 1 time, government of occurs 1 time, the people occurs 3 times, and so on. Now we want to sort these counts in descending order, so we're going to use the reverse sort by command to do that, and we're operating on the last element of each of these lists here. So we want to sort by this number, that's the last element of this whole list. So the people occurs 3 times, the earth 1 time, everything else occurs 1 time. So the people occurs 3 times, we want that out the front. The next step is to turn these nested lists into rules, and we use the rule and the apply command like we saw earlier to do that. So now instead of a nested list that has the people inside of a larger list which says how many times it occurs, we have the list that has the people pointing to with the rule pointing to the count. And now if we take that expression and we wrap it in association, we end up with the association that gives us the number of times each of these bigrams has occurred. Now we don't want to go through and type that series of steps over and over again. So once we've figured it out, we want to wrap it up inside a function of its own. So I'm going to call this function our bigram counter, and I'm simply taking this expression here, the expression that we finished with, and I'm saying the thing that we want to work on is not Lincoln quote specifically, but any text. So we give that a name, x, and its name appears up here with the underscore. And this function now we can use on Lincoln quote, and it should give us the same results as it did right here. And this gives us the same bigram quotes as we got by using the word counts command, except for that they appear in a different order.